cago en 10 is literally me cago, I'm pooping in 10?
I'm pooping in 10, yeah. I have no idea what the etymology of that one is.
Like you're letting people know that you're crapping in 10 minutes? Okay, how about cabezón? Explain cabezón to me.
Well, that's just, you have a big head. You are the entity.
Annoying? Stubborn? Or what does it mean?
Oh.
It's stubborn, right?
Well, no, it could literally mean you have a big head. Like
All right. Welcome back to this series that I'm making now where I complain about foreign languages. You have normal words and then you have bad words, the words that you don't say around children, the parolacce. 90 is 90, which is 4, 20, 10. And then, you know, all the way up to 99, 99, 420, 10, 9. I really enjoy doing this, so here we are again to complain about Spanish. For the record, okay, just putting this out there, I think all languages don't make sense. That wasn't even a correct sentence right there. I'm not in any way implying that English is superior at all, but in the meantime, I'm gonna put out my frustrations on the internet about the Spanish language. Cojones. So, to start, I guess, let's talk about one of your favorite nicknames for me, which is bolas, when I'm acting like an idiot, which literally translates, if I'm not mistaken, to balls, right?
Well, that's a common expression in Argentina.
It turns out this is a recurring theme in Spanish.
So the behavior itself would be that you're just being stupid. You are just
there without a purpose, I guess. You're just like al pedo.
Okay, so bolas is idiot, al pedo is useless, right?
Al pedo, yeah, because a fart, what use is a fart? Once it just escapes, it is completely useless.
Can you explain to me the expression te cuelgan?
Well, that has to do with bolas, actually, because your balls are just there hanging, doing nothing, is what.
So te cuelgan, it's like, they're just you're just there and you are
useless.
So this is another one that Argentina is famous for, but boludo is literally big balls?
It is, yeah, there's a lot. And pelotudo is big pelotas, you know, balls.
So bola
Y pelota, I mean, pelotudo is like, we're going big now, you know? Pelotudo de mierda, it's like, forget it.
You're an idiot if you have big balls, is that kind of how it works? Is that the logic?
That's where all the intelligence went.
Okay, quick Spanish lesson. In Spanish, you can add an ito at the end of a word to make it smaller and cuter. And you can add a ísimo to make it bigger or more exaggerated. This is different from using adjectives like grande or pequeño. Does the word boludito exist? Would you ever say that or no?
Yeah, you could, and that's like very demeaning.
So boludito is big little balls.
Boludito, you little shit.
You're saying you little shit, but literal translation would be more like you big little balls.
You're right.
Or you little big balls.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Remember un besito grande? When you say goodbye to someone? Like, what does that mean? A little big kiss?
Like, how does that work? It's just like weird.
Wait. Let's break that down. So, un besito grande. So, break that one down for me.
Oh, okay. Besito is tiny kiss. Beso, besito. Te doy un besito, right? Tiny lips.
So whatever the gesture would be.
Un besito grande. It's like, I'm going to give you a little bit of love, but it's very meaningful. It's very like impactful.
It's packed with a lot of love.
Okay, so is a besito grande bigger than a beso?
No, okay. A beso might be bigger, but without the weight of the besito grande.
The besito grande is loaded with love. The beso is just I'm giving you a kiss.
Okay, I see.
Okay, so this goes to the language, right? Where whether you're insulting or not in Argentina, because I don't know about all Latin American countries, I can't speak for everybody else, but when you speak in a very passionate way. It's a very, like, even sending you a kiss, you're expressing in like this kind of, intense way.
Conjugation in Spanish is quite expansive. There's a million different tenses, and then of course you're conjugating for me, for you, for we, for them. There's the present, the past. There's multiple actually for the past. There's multiple for the future, conditional, subjunctive. There's just so much stuff to memorize. And despite that sometimes it gets really confusing because you're using the same word for the past and the present. So, for example, hablamos, okay? We talk is the present tense, but it's the same exact word for past tense, hablamos. Nosotros hablamos ayer, which would be we talked yesterday. But if I just didn't add yesterday, it means we talked like today. Or no, we talk. Okay, see, I'm confused. It means we talked past tense or we talk present tense. So I made the observation that hablamos works in the present tense and the past tense, and that's very confusing. But you pointed out to me that it also works in the future tense, the subjunctive. To all English speakers, let me just say this. Ignorance is bliss. The subjunctive doesn't even exist in English, as far as I'm aware. Some people kind of make the argument that it does, but it doesn't. I mean, you've never heard this word be used with regards to the English language. So I'm looking this up, just like to find the right words to even describe what this is. The subjunctive is a grammatical mood, if you will. It's kind of like a special verb form that expresses like emotion or doubt. I know this is really abstract. That's kind of why it's so complicated. And this also applies to like future activities. So if you want to say when you arrive, you oftentimes have to say cuando llegues instead of saying cuando llegas, which would be the proper conjugation. Cuando llegues, which essentially implies that you don't actually know exactly when the person is arriving. I think this is because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Spanish speakers out there, but a lot of the Spanish speaking world is quite improvisational. It's quite spontaneous. It's a lot less sort of rigid. And so concepts around time are far more fluid. In Mexico, I don't know if you remember, ahorita means later. Ahorita is like in 15, 20 minutes, I think, or like some point in the future, at some point.
Yeah.
People would tell me that. People would be like, ya llego, ahorita. When? What does that mean? The same thing applies in the past, okay? And certain like sentence structures sort of trigger the subjunctive. And it's just like, instead of using one of the million conjugations that you've already had to memorize in Spanish, you now have to use another one that doesn't even exist in English. Okay, so for example, in present tense, you can say si quiero irme, me voy, which would be if I want to leave, I'm leaving. If you wanted to say that more in the past tense, if I wanted to leave, you can't say si quería irme. You'd have to say si quisiera irme, which is, again, subjunctive, past tense. Like, none of this translates into English, but you just have to learn it because saying it the wrong way just sounds wrong. It hurts your ears. So the correct sentence would be something like, si quisiera irme, puedo ir? If I wanted to go, can I go? There you go. The funny thing about the differences across the Romance languages is that the rules with the subjunctive are not the same. And I know I'm kind of branching off here and talking briefly about French here, but in French, j'espère que, I hope that, doesn't trigger the subjunctive, whereas in Spanish, it does. Espero que sea un éxito. I hope that it is a success. Yeah, you have to kind of memorize the rules for each language. This, what I just referred to about with the future and with the past, they don't exist in French, for example, because again, I think time is perceived differently in the Spanish-speaking world. It's a lot more fluid. And I've had debates with my dad about this because it's like, what if I actually know exactly when they're going to arrive? Like, I know when they're going to arrive, but even then, oftentimes, you're still using the subjunctive because you just never know. Anything could happen. Welcome to the Spanish-speaking world. And this was my experience, when I was living in Argentina. It's like I tried really hard in the beginning to make plans to like go out, get drinks, whatever, right, on Friday night. And it wasn't until like Friday evening itself that plans were made, even though I had been trying for weeks beforehand. You just can't really plan into the future. So those were the main things I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna consider this like a bonus round of just like a few rapid fire little things. I guess one other related thing is that in Spanish, you're always shitting, right? Everything is shitting. We talked about this before, but like, estoy cagando de frío. Estoy cagando de calor, ¿no?
Sí.
De miedo.
Estoy cagado de miedo. Me cago en 10. Like,
Cago en 10 is literally me cago, I'm I'm pooping in 10?
I'm pooping in 10, yeah. I have no idea what the etymology of that one is.
You're letting people know that you're crapping in 10 minutes?
I think it's a way to get around not saying, Dios.
Yeah.
Una cagada es un error. Pero
Okay,
qué cagada, it's like,
So,
we can review those.
hold on. Hold on. Mandé una cagada. So you sent a shit pile. Is that what that is?
Me mandé. It's almost like I produced a shit. So I produced a bad result. Me mandé una cagada.
You can refer to money as lana, which is just wool, which is kind of medieval, if you will, kind of archaic, but I kind of like it. One of the ones that really cracks me up, and I'm pretty sure this is just unique to Argentina, but I would hear my parents talking about mangoes. They would say like 14 mangos. And I'm just kind of like, I would look at them and be like, what are you talking about right now? Why are you referring to 14 mangoes? And mangoes, it turns out, are like dollars in Argentina. So 10 out of 10 on the creativity here. And that's another way to refer to money. Mangoes. This language is confusing. Obviously, I think it's a very, very beautiful language. I'm so grateful to have learned the language and to be able to communicate to Spanish speakers. There's so much richness, so much diversity in the Spanish-speaking world. If you're interested in learning Spanish, I highly encourage you to go forth and make that happen because it will expand your world. I have a class on language learning that I just feel like I wanted to mention really quick. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Thanks for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, I will continue with this series. There's more that can be done. So let me know. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon.